Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today would normally be standard day, but with the next set so close to being released, I figured we'd just do a little bit of historic. Normally I would do something like rotation-proof decks, but for standard this time around, it kind of feels like it's very much Eldraine dominated, so I can't really see the newest formats getting updated too much, except for just kind of adding more cards to your existing deck, so like, I don't know. I don't really see too much of an appeal with rotation-proof decks this time around. Maybe next time, who knows. But anyway, we're going to be playing some Historic until Kaldheim comes up anyway. And today we're going to be playing around with a list I like to call Torrential Control. Also known as Rare Wildcard Tribal, because good lord, when I looked at this deck, is it jam-packed full of rares. So I don't expect many of you to be able to craft this one. But as you can maybe tell, most of the mana base, all but 4 lands are rares. Mythic, rare, 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 rare. So, yeah, quite an expensive deck to build, but quite a fun one. I would say that this is quite the casual list. I've been playing it in casual anyway, and I've done quite well. Current win record is actually 6-2 with it, so it's not too bad. 75% win rate. Yeah, let's get into what it does anyway. Essentially, it is going to be a engine piece built around the Lotus Field, Blood Sun, and Tails End kind of combo. So Lotus Field is a hexproof land that enters the battlefield tapped, and when it enters, it sacrifices itself, or sacrifices 2 lands, and then it adds 3 mana of any one color. So on its own, it is, as long as it's played on your turn 3, a tap land that adds 1 mana to your mana pool permanently, essentially. If you have something like Blood Sun in play, which makes all lands lose all abilities, then it straight up just becomes a ramp up to 3. So this is going to be kind of our ramp combo. And we've got Tails End as well, since when Lotus Field enters, it is a triggered ability. So you just counter the triggered ability of Lotus Field on turn 3, and you get to keep your land. And then once you've got your Lotus Field in play, you should be able to untap into 6 mana, and then the real fun begins. We're a Torrential Gearhulk kind of deck. So this is a 6 mana 5/6 with Flash. It hasn't seen too much play, because honestly it's quite expensive these days, but with this little package here, we can really make it work. 6 mana 5/6, enters the battlefield, and then you get to cast an instant card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into your graveyard this turn, exile it instead. So, got a couple of targets for Torrential Gearhulk, including the other 6-drop that I honestly adore alongside Torrential Gearhulk. I think is absolutely absurd when it gets going. An instant, which is a modal spell, which includes counter magic. So your Torrential Gearhulk is a counter spell. You can also counter a activated or triggered ability at the same time. So you can actually use this to just completely counter an Ulamog, for example. So you get to counter the cast trigger and the Ulamog itself, so which is quite absurd. You can bounce a non-land permanent to its owner's hand, create a copy of a creature you control, and also draw a card. So when we actually create a copy of a creature we control, we're going to be copying the Torrential Gearhulk, which means the copy, if you cast Epiphany from hand, the copy gets to cast the Sublime Epiphany that made the token. So you get to do it all over again, making another copy of Torrential Gearhulk and drawing a card. That is our win con. In a nutshell, we're just going to be making a world of hate for our opponent, jam-packed full of 5/6s, and see how we do there. There is also another little combo as well, which is quite hateful. The Narset and Commit to Memory. So Memory says each player shuffles their hand and their graveyard into their library and draws 7 cards. Narset has a passive that says you can't draw more than 1 card each turn. So basically, we Memory with a Narset out, we draw 7, our opponent draws their 1 card for the turn, and that's it. So we draw 6 cards with this, and we could also kind of just like completely discard our opponent's hand with a Memory side. Fun fact, Commit to Memory is an instant when it's in your graveyard, so Torrential Gearhulk can flash in, target commit, but then get to cast the memory side of the card, which means Torrential Gearhulk is also a memory as well. So all of these are wonderfully comboed together, and it's a lot of fun. The early game is, a little bit of disruption. specifically things like Dwyer's Disruption. The counter unless you pay 1 is quite nice. It's also a tap land. We're running 24 lands, but we're also running Disruptions, Sulundi Visions, and Valakut's Awakenings. This is quite useful for a number of reasons. Valakut's Awakening being a land that Torrential Gearhulk can hit, for example. Same thing for Sulundi Vision. Also means that Narset on her tick down can grab lands for us as well, so she can help us make our land drops, albeit tap lands most of the time. But these should enter untapped as well with Blood Sun. That's another thing. It removes the enters the battlefield tapped from your card, so things like Spirebluff Canal enter untapped and become Volcanic Islands. Rorgrim Triome becomes an untapped tri-land. We can't really use the white side of this. We're only running it really for the cycling. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of the deck. I will say that this combo in particular is quite well positioned in the format at the moment. Usually when you're running a combo like this, you don't really want it to just perform its combo shenanigans. It does quite a fair bit. So for example, Blood Sun is pretty good at hitting Fable Passages. Your opponents can't use them anymore, which is why we're not running Fable Passages in our deck, because it just makes it a dead land. So we could potentially strip mine our opponent with a Blood Sun for 1. The Tail's End is also just exceptionally useful for a number of things. There's very few matchups, I think, where this card is dead. It can counter Muxus. It could counter an 8th Flux Marvel trigger. It can counter Ugins. It can counter Planeswalkers. All of that shenanigans. Planeswalker tick-ups and tick-downs as well. You can counter those. ETB abilities. This card should always be quite useful. And in the format right now, there are plenty of cards that we can use this on. So we can Sweltering Suns our Goblin's opponent, for example, and then when they try to rebuild and win on the spot, we have a Tail's End for Muxus, that kind of thing. So it's really nice to have these combo pieces work together to do something really stupid and fun, but also have some effective abilities outside of the combo as well. Which I think is really why this deck can function the way that it does. You're probably going to see me run this package quite a fair few times over the next few weeks, because I think it's actually quite fun, and it has multiple applications, not just outside of this Izzet control nightmare for our opponent. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video anyway. We are going to be running it in the casual queue. Don't know how well it fares in ranked, to be honest, but, you know, I just feel like playing it in casual today, so we're going to do that. And hopefully you guys enjoy. If you do, hit that like button, subscribe, you know the drill, and let's get to it. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Okay, we're in, and I'm going to go ahead and say this is not a keepable hand. It does have the Lotus Field, but no Blood Sun, no other mana to get it into play, no nothing, so we'll chuck that one. This one's a lot more enticing. We do have the Lotus Field, we don't have a Blood Sun or a Tail's End, but Narset could find that, and I'm sure we could find a land along the way. The question is, which card do we dump into the trash? I think I'm going to say Torrential Gearhulk, to be honest, because we might need the Abrade and the Sweltering Suns, especially to cover our Narset. I'm not sure if this is a sweeper matchup. Hey, that's nice. Alright, so tap land, go. So we've got the Tails in for the Lotus Fields. Guardian Idol, yeah, it's things like that that make me quite happy to have the Abrade. And I think I might Abrade it now. Reason being, they can go land Hedron Archive, and then play another 2-drop off of that before I can respond to it. At least this way I kind of stagger some of their artifacts. Maybe even mana screw them, who knows. They're going to be working their way up to Ugin, so maybe this Tail's End is also a nice idea. The Mighty Compass, and yep, we managed to mana screw them. Fantastic. Alright, from here, I think the answer is maybe go for Island and then drop down Narset. Hurts them with Maze Mind Tomes and things like that. Juari's Disruption. It's not going to be this kind of matchup. I will take a Valakut's Awakening though. Good thing about this deck and Narset is that Narset can actually pull lands. Tap lands, but lands nonetheless. So now Thematic Compass can take the entire turn just to grab a swamp, which is fine. And that's kind of really good. We're gonna go Narset first though, just in case we find ourselves into a position where we might want to pick Blood Sun off of it, and then at least we have the revealed one being played. I don't think we're playing Blood Sun here. I think Salundi Vision's just better. They won't have an answer to this current one. And with Salundi Vision, I can play it off the Lotus Field. We even have Tail's End to hit any artifacts as well. Oh, sorry, legendaries. Legendaries like Khan. Just gonna go for more basics. I could even shut them down here. Is that even worthwhile? I mean, probably not. I'll just go Salundi Vision and grab like Sublime Epiphany, and I can't see how they win through a Sublime Epiphany anyway. Another Tail's End. Sweltering Suns is bad. We really wanted those Gear Hulks. That could actually come back to bite us. I'll take Tail's End. Worst case scenario, like, I can counter the Thematic Compass here. We are going to go with the Valakut's Awakening, because I can find a land drop and dump some of these extra useless cards. So Sweltering Suns is bad in this matchup, and I'd cycle it anyway. Tail's End is bad. And, I mean, the likelihood is that Juari's Disruption is also pretty bad. I might keep double Tail's End to counter Ulamog and his cast trigger. Who knows? Alright. We don't want to play Spire Bluff. Actually, no, we do want to play Spire Bluff, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter either way. I'll just go with Lotus Field. None of this end is tapped because of Blood Sun, so... I don't think I'm going to braid the Thematic Compass. I don't think I care enough. Again, like, I'd rather just hit like a Hedron Archive or a Guardian Idol in this case. That's fine. So let's destroy that. We can react to the Compass by shuffling it in as well, or we could even Tail's End it. I think it's pretty useless doing either one, so not fussed there. Salundi Vision. This reveals, so I would only do it on my turn if I had a sorcery that I cared about, and I don't, so I'm just going to hold it. Up to 6 mana. This is the slowest trigger of all time. Alright, so we can commit this. And then Salundi Vision. Wow. Well, that's a flood we don't have to deal with, I suppose. I think we're going with the memory now. So we'll play our land on the blue side. We'll memory leave our opponent with 1 card. Seems good. And yeah, just pass the turn. Alright. Yeah, that works. So then we only have to deal with 1 card, and on the off chance it's Ulamog, it's kind of bad for us, but at the same time, not really. I guess they can hit 6 mana, and then we can just commit it back into the deck and probably do some Valakut's Awakening shenanigans. They've got a long way to go before they get there, though, so the likelihood is that the worst thing that they can play is either Khan or Ugin, and, you know, commit to memory will deal with that just fine. So yeah, a bit of a dirty start, but, you know, the deck kind of did what it was supposed to do, except for, like, hitting all 3 Torrential Gear Hulks on card effects that can't pick them. Other than that, though, went pretty well. It's a Zerda deck. Oh, wow. It's been a while since I played in the play queue, so, you know, I'm not really expecting a lot of the time to see interesting piles. Then again, yeah, it's usually all dependent on... hang on. I do want to play Dwari's Disruption on 2 and have a braid open, so... I think I'm going to go with a mountain here. To have both. I'm going to need another land, though. Maze my turn. It's a pretty good draw. We're going to slap that on blue. I think I'm upbraiding the tome here. Saves them getting a scry and a draw. We'll just let them have a scry one. Yeah, usually because of the matchmaking system and the fact that it just constantly throws mirror matches at you all the time, it's not really appealing for me these days to actually play around with the casual queue. Is it Blood Sun or is it Narset? It's probably Narset, to be honest, because it's hard to interact with. Sublime Epiphany? I mean, I'll take it. I think I'll try and get my hits in while I still can, essentially. Yeah, Guardian Idol can do its thing. Not really too fussed. If that's their entire turn, that's great for me. So, let's go with Blood Sun. I was hoping for Lotus Field there, of course, but beggars can't be choosers and all that. So now they kind of have to Guardian Idol it again, unless they drew removal. So why is Zerda in here? What is the purpose of Zerda? It's a shame we didn't have an extra one piece of mana open there for the Tail's End, because we could have countered that. So I can hold up in Tail's End and Dwari's Disruption if I play Blood Sun or Valakut's Awakening. I'm thinking Awakening's where I want to be. But we'll pass, because maybe we'll want to use both. Who knows? So you can take care of Narset. Okay. Yeah, that's a problem. This is where Commit to Memory is pretty good. So this can't be countered. So I guess we're just gonna probably go for Valakut's Awakening here.
You make it to the Inferno.
I kind of want to counter this. It's not the greatest counter of all time, but we're gonna go for it because we can. And then we've got a lot to dump here. We don't want you, you, or you. Sublime Epiphany can counter the trigger on Chandra and Bouncer as well. So we'll keep that. Okay. So I can commit Chandra or Sublime Epiphany. I probably want to just Sublime Epiphany. 3, 6, and then cycle. Oh, this is 3 to cycle. Yeah, I think I'll just pass like this. We have the answer to Chandra's emblem. Oh, yeah, Chandra's emblems. Take 3, happily. So this is where I can get them a little bit. We can counter the trigger. We can waste their time by bouncing the Chandra, I suppose. And we can draw a card. So just bounce you, draw a card. That's their entire turn, just take them back up again. Unfortunately, don't have the commit, but, you know. Gotta get what we're given, I suppose. And keep working on it until we find those torrential gear hulks that our deck is built around.
Or is it getting a little warm in here?
Okay. Garbage. 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could commit Chandra. Sweltering Suns the Zerda. Possibly. I think I'm definitely going to go for the commit Chandra. And I really want to get this memory with Narset if I can help it. Obviously, Guardian Idol gets in the way of that plan, but maybe they won't go after Narset and we can rip their hand apart. We certainly get rid of the Chandra this way. We should be able to beat our opponent in 13 turns, in theory. So whatever that card is, they need to be able to cast it now, otherwise I'm just going to shuffle it back into their deck. Tormod's Crypt for memory. Okay. And the Narset kill. Sure. I'll go in face. Fair enough. Opponent. What's your Tormod's Crypt for? Oh, I'll get them now. It's out of the graveyard, buddy. I actually don't really want most of those cards that are in there. I think they just assumed that they could respond to that. Which, as we all know, is not the case. Okay. So, land, Zerda. I'm gonna counter that. I'm gonna bounce their Karn. I'm gonna draw a card. Bounce your Karn. Draw a card. They can replay their Karn, but it takes their entire turn. Blood Sun. By the time they do something with Karn, I've got Gear Hulk into Sublime Epiphany. Okay. That's a pretty good one. Alright. Yep, that's fine. So, players can't cast spells from graveyards or libraries. Shuts down Torrential Gear Hulk, but it does still allow me to actually use it nonetheless. There's a Sublime Epiphany, which I think I'll take. And then we'll pass. We'll Tail's End Karn's minus. You sure? Okay. Alright. So, just to prove that we can't cast. Right there. And then we go boop. No need to worry about him anymore. Tail's End. And now we just start working on killing our opponents. So Sublime Epiphany should lock them out. I'm going to go Blood Sun first, actually, because we might find another Lotus Field. We did not. I'll just play you on blue. Don't care about Karn, it's only a 1-1 coming in. And we're going to Sublime Epiphany, make a copy of Torrential Gear Hulk as well. Golos. How about Nolos? Could bounce Karn. Yeah, why not? Create a copy, draw a card. So, bounce you, create a copy, draw a card. Can't cast anything, but I do have to target. And yeah, we can beat the Chandra Emblem. Alright. A little bit sketchy. There was definitely a couple of turns where if we just had one mana, it would have been a little less clunky. Like being able to hold up and the commit for Chandra there, but I think we mostly got it. I was just trying to play the tempo game most of all, so like bouncing cards, even though they can replay them, you know, it doesn't necessarily seem like a good play, and maybe it isn't, I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's causing them to tap out their mana and basically do nothing with their turn, and that's where we kind of leveraged our win and eventually had the answers we needed. So now we have 10 power in board, which is a 2-turn clock, double cycles to find better cards, so we can find maybe a Tail's End for the Karn. or another Sublime Epiphany, because I think we still have one, right? Oh no, that was the last one. But either way, it's pretty hard to lose from double Gear Hulk. Like, even Chandra can't kill enough of them on a minus, so they'd need... I don't know, what would they need? Star of Extinction? That would probably win them the game. I'd be out of good options at that point, maybe, but, you know, I don't think this is the Star of Extinction deck, to be honest to you. Anyway, next game. Alright, Gigantha. Probably like mono red if I had to guess. It could also be like Jund Sacrifice as well. If it's like mono red, Sweltering Suns is pretty good, and this mana base is pretty reasonable as well. We got turns 2 Tails End, we could Steam Vents as well. I'm gonna keep this one. See where we go. So we always have a tap land. It's lovely. Mana base seems pretty solid, actually. I wasn't sure too much about the Spire Bluff canals and whatnot, but it seems to be mostly working out. Breeding Pool, what does that mean for us? I'm going to hold up in Tails End. Maybe it's an Emery deck. Teamer. Maybe Neostorm? Mox Amber. It is an Emery deck. Would you look at that? Alright. Goodbye, Emery. Another Tails End. But I think we want to play Narset. Emery is most likely in a combo that draws a lot with the Chromatic Sphere, so if I shut that off now with Narset, then that should work out for us. Blood Sun's a reasonable pickup, but we don't really have a payoff for it, so I'm more likely just to hold up in Solundi Vision and Tails End next turn. Unless we draw the land, of course. So yeah, Gigantha's just kind of in here as a free card. You might as well run it. Alright, Narset. And a Braid. I don't imagine that does much for us, but could take it anyway. I think we're just going to pass. I don't really mind giving them the mana for that. Yeah, just count a Karn. Paradox Engine shenanigans from them, most likely. Yeah, I think they realise that I'm draw go at this point. Very reactionary. Their deck, I think I know what it is. It is essentially an Emery Paradox Engine combo with Chromatic Sphere. You play it out the yard with Emery for 1 mana, tap it for 2. Karn gets you Paradox Engine, so basically you can untap Emery constantly and draw your entire deck. My deck pretty much shuts that down, and I think that's why the early scooped here. Like, we have the Commit to Memories if we eventually draw a land sometime this year. We also have Sweltering Suns just to wipe the Emery off the board for a start. And just, like, you know, running a Braids for artifacts, which they know about as well, so they can't actually resolve anything meaningful off of the Karn. And in general, I think we just are really well positioned against them. They need, like, straight up removal for Narset, otherwise their combo just doesn't work. So, pretty good. Alright, opponent goes first. We have potential to Lander before the Lotus Field, where we can hold up in Tails End and Jwari's Disruption. Jwari's Disruption's not as good on the draw, though. So this is kind of a hard, debatable hand here as to whether we should keep it. I'm tempted, I honestly am. But I think a Molt will just do me so much more. This is okay. This is roughly kind of the same hand, but the mana base is a little bit better. We can Tails End the Lotus Field if it's a dead card against our opponent. So let's go down probably like the Commit to Memory. If our hand ends up being bad, then the Valakut's Awakening can fix it for us. Looking for sweepers. Alright. So let's go Roger and Triumph. Pass. Mono-white life gain, most likely, if I had to guess. Black-white life gain. And Sweltering Suns should be pretty good. So we're going to hold up and Tail's End and Dwari's Disruption here to hit Heliod. Ajani's Pride Mate. So if I counter this trigger, then Pride Mate goes up to a 3-3 and I can Sweltering Suns. I guess if they play another 1-drop though, then I won't be able to do that. So what I'll do is I'll wait until Healer's Hawk gets in. Counter this trigger instead. And as long as they don't play a 1-drop, dang it, then I have my Sweltering Suns. I think it was worth trying. I'm still gonna Swelter the Suns though. And then we just have to figure out an answer to Ajani's Pride Mate, really. Oh god, Heliod as well. Oof. Alright, that's maybe the first part towards finding an answer. I'm gonna have to Valakut's Awakening here, I think, in order to find the card that will save me here. So they're gonna gain life with Heliod, because it looks like they've got nothing better to do. Can't exactly stop them. I need, like, commit, I think. So let's do the whole hand. Give ourselves the best odds of finding it. Being at 2, though, doesn't give me high hopes for winning this game. Tails End and Narset. Okay. Let's play Narset. Need literally commit now. Yep, that won't do it. Shame. I don't think we knew the... Oh, we bottomed a commit right at the beginning of the game, didn't we? Wow. Yeah, we got nothing to answer this now, so it's mostly just see what's on the bottom of our deck. This game literally came down to our opponent having a Sarah's Ascendant in hand. If they didn't have this, then my Sweltering Suns plan would have absolutely wrecked them. I think it was worth trying, because we were going to lose otherwise. But yeah, just cards didn't quite line up on this one, unfortunately, and too much regression. Womp womp. Right, I go first. I have a fine hand. Yeah, it's a fine hand. Seen better, but, you know, it's kind of slow. Is it control? So let's give it a shot. So we do get to hold up an Abrade in case your opponent is playing some sort of artifact strategy. After that, we get to drop down Narset into the commit. I think it's a nice enough curve. Opponent's got nothing. Love to see it. So let's go Spy Bluff Canal. Gruul and Paradise Druid to lead. So the question is, do I want to play Narset, who basically just gets hit? I don't think we do. If anything, what I want to do here is Abrade what they play, or Abrade the Paradise Druid. And if neither of those are good, then Valakut's Awakening and improve my hand a bit. Because this hand needs a lot of work. So there's another Paradise Druid. So like, if they get down to some beatdown plan with that Paradise Druid, I probably will Abrade it. Since they seem to be very hell-bent on ramping into something. Yeah, I figured they might. Okay, so let's get rid of... I don't mind commit here. I think I could probably get rid of Narset and the land, because I'll draw another one. And maybe we keep the Abrade. Abrade probably has some usage in this matchup, to be honest. Got Blood Sun. But we don't have Lotus Field. Without Lotus Field, do I dare play Blood Sun here? It's Fabled Passages if our opponent hasn't got one. It's just so weird. I could Disruption and then... Yeah, I think I'm just going to Disruption pass. Triple Blood Sun is not exactly the most ideal of draws. And not having the untapped land for the commit is almost worse. Maybe they've got like a Phylath and we can get that. Questing Beast, there you go. That's a good Tail's End target at this point. I don't need it for countering Lotus Field triggers, so... We accept. We hope for Lotus Field. Fantastic. So this Blood Sun is free. Lets me hold up and commit to memory. Torrential Gear Hulk is absolutely absurd. Okay. And now I think I hold back for the commit so I can get the memory Gear Hulk because it will improve my hand and we'll give our opponent some cards, of course, but that should be okay. I don't really want to just get hit by the largest card of all time here, so gotta be careful. If they get in, then... Oh, cool. I'll commit that. Yeah, if they got in first before playing anything, I let them get in for damage. Because it's obviously bait. There's Steam Vents. So we have Gear Hulk commit. Off of this, so I can do this. I think I'll take the opportunity to abrade one Paradise Druid. And then we'll pass. So, I possibly Flash Hulk in to block Questing Beast. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. I could commit this with a Torrential Gear Hulk, but I lose my memory then. I think I just memory, because whatever they take off the tick up here is fine. If they tick down, then I don't really care, because Blood Sun's done its job.
People, not so much.
I think my 7 beats their 7 on a refill with this much mana. I'd love to see the minus here. I really would. They minus Blood Sun. Probably get in with the Paradise Druid. I flash block, and then I've got the kill on Vivian. With a brand new 7-card hand that kills their Vivian on top of the deck as well. Beautiful. Honestly beautiful. They don't know it, but they've made a horrific mistake. The only reason you'd want to do that is if you had lands that did things. So they're going to hold back, which is interesting. I'm still going to be mana efficient here and go for the memory. Shot of them having a Braids in their deck. I highly doubt I can get punished for this. So we're going to go with the commit to memory. You can target with Torrential Gear Hulk because the commit side is an instant. But you can cast memory. Reshuffle, gain 7. Find hopefully something to do here. Sublime Epiphany is kind of the best card. Bone Crusher my face, okay. Ha! This sounds embarrassing. Wow. Okay. The whole point of doing what I was doing was to get rid of all of my Blood Suns, but, you know, I'll just play one again, I suppose. Yeah, I'll play Blood Sun here, so I can play the Mountain untapped with Sublime Epiphany. Kill the Vivian.
Not again.
Yeah, that was so bad. Wow. This sounds garbage. Alright. Let's see what you do. Big turn for them, of course. So we are on 10. Carney T. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's no way I can find a commit to memory here. So I say okay. See if they want to get in with their Paradise Druid. So my answer to Carnage Tyrant is essentially double Gear Hulk block. What do I want to do here? Can cycle the Triome, but I can also just Valakut's Awakening my hand, because it's really bad. We'll get rid of you. Yeah. Let's just draw a whole new hand. Didn't get much better, I'll be honest. Okay, double Gear Hulk's fine. So we're going to Spire Bluff. I can swing in if they block. Then I can Swelter the whole board away. They let it go. So if I Swelter with Paradise Druid, getting killed there. I'm most likely to just Sublime Epiphany, I think. Which leaves me with 4 mana for like a Braid, Dwyr's Disruption. Gotta be careful of going down too low, because we know they're running Stomps in their deck. We can always Tails End an Ember Cleave if they're running it in their deck as well. So here's Questing Beast. Can Tails End it, or I can make a copy of Torrential Gear Hulk with Sublime Epiphany, which I like as well. So counter that. Create a copy, draw a card. Could bounce my Blood Sun, just as a replay, I guess. Yeah, sure. So, return non-land, create a copy, draw a card. Sublime Epiphany, cast it, create a copy, draw a card. Yeah, that'll do. So we'll create a copy, draw a card. Valakut's Awakening. Get rid of you. I guess you as well, and maybe you. Give me some new cards. I'd say it's a pretty solid turn. So now we got blockers for Carney T. We've got a commit to memory in case they have uncounterable cards. We can get rid of those. So like Banefires don't really work. Combat Tricks don't work. If they've got a 5-drop, I've just got a Dwyr's Disruption. So yeah, I'll just commit that. It's worked out pretty well, if I do say so myself. Alright. So we do have to abide by the land rules now, but that's okay. So I can get in for quite a fair bit and then just like Sublime Epiphany like crazy again. I think I'm okay with that. So we got 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not quite enough to Gear Hulk and Epiphany, which is a shame. But our opponent's on 5. We can Gear Hulk commit. So we're going to end the turn. We're going to get rid of some lands. Might as well keep Lotus Field. Might Blood Sun into it, maybe. I don't know. Either way, it's just a tap land at this point. So I think... Wow, okay. Yeah, let's just Sublime Epiphany again. Counter that. Make a copy, draw a card. The main issue here with their plays is that they are constantly playing pre-combat, and this is kind of the reason why you shouldn't. Make a copy, draw a card. Gonna decline that. I have nothing to commit, so... Now they have to kill me through 2 5/6s. Though I do only have a Braid and Jwari's Disruption, so it's going to be kind of difficult. I'll let that go.
Let's do this.
I think this is good game, which is why I'm accepting the early GG. Usually I don't. It's like they can -4 something, I can double block Carnage Tyrant. Yeah. If they had Ember Cleave, then they'd have to attack in with both, which means they don't have the mana for it. Otherwise, adding extra mana there is their only way to get out Ember Cleave. So the only thing I think I really have to worry about is like more stomps. And they needed to really minus on one of my Gear Hulks so that trample damage became relevant. Yeah, I mean, it's all kind of not really even an issue as long as I have a commit to memory in here, which, you know, with the sheer amount of card advantage I just spewed out there, I was kind of hoping for one, but, you know, you can't always get it. Even a Tail's End would have been great. So I guess I did bottom quite a horrendous amount of cards, didn't I? Yeah, I should have kept this card, for sure. The rest, yeah, we're fine to bottom. Either way though, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoy. This deck is a doozy. It's a hell of a lot of fun to play, and it's been doing quite well. I have been playing against people in the casual queues, and they have been making some trivial errors though. So I don't know how it fares against competitive players who don't make mistakes. But, you know, it's still a lot of fun. If you play it in the casual queue, you're going to enjoy yourself, I suppose. So, you know, who knows? And I will be coming back with some more Lotus Field shenanigans and Tail's End. So if you did want to craft it for some reason, then I'm probably going to showcase many ways that you can utilize this kind of engine. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy anyway. If you do, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, all that jazz. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.